Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Ratliff Mandolins weekly production diary. It is Monday about 1:30 and I've spent all day up till now trying to find a spare wheel for my 2007 Ford Ranger. Not a junkyard in town seems to have one, and they're kind of hard to order, and so far, speaking of wheels, I've been spinning my wheels all day, and you know what, I decided I'm going to quit chasing this thing, and I'm just going to try to get something done in the musical instrument department today. And so I've got 3 or 4 repairs that are built up, and I'm just going to work on them until my students show up this afternoon. And we're going to start with this little baby Taylor of some sort, and it's got a little bit of high action, so I'm going to work on that. I also have a guitar here that needs to have a pickup put in. I've got a mandolin that needs to have the fretboard scooped out, and then I also have a mandolin here that I think it's just going to have to be completely disassembled and reassembled. I don't remember now. I took shop notes when I took it in. So I'm just going to work on some of these things until my students show up, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Yesterday went well. I resolved the action issues on the little baby Taylor, and I put a K&K internal twin acoustic guitar pickup in this Martin guitar, which, believe it or not, I couldn't find any kind of numbers. It just has custom shop stamped down on the inside of it, but it's a really nice guitar, so that one's taken care of. And I think I will do one more of the repairs, which this is not really a repair. It's it's an A style that I built that the customer sent back and asked me to scoop out the fretboard. So I think I'll take some footage of that so that you can see what kind of tools and kind of the procedure for scooping out a fretboard. But I'll tell you right now, there's no big secret. I usually use just needle rasps and then some scrapers to kind of clean all that up and finish it off with sandpaper. I'm much too big of a chicken to get in there with any kind of heavy duty stuff and grind it out. I just kind of ease it out a little bit at a time. So, but I'll get some footage of that for you to see. And then we'll move into the big room and we'll pick up with the mandolins where we left off last week. And the first thing on that job jar list will probably be mandolin number 5. Although I have all of the binding on mandolin number 5, it still needs to be cleaned up and sanded down and made all pretty. So that's probably where we'll go after that. So let's get started. We'll put this thing up and get started on that little A mandolin. when you make a mandolin back, you make it a little bit oversized to begin with, so that when you glue it on, it overhangs just a tad. And you've seen in past episodes, I put the mandolin in a little rolly tray after I take it out of the prop bar deck, and have a little bit of an overhead router with a cabinet trim bit, and just trim all that off. Now that doesn't mean to say that that's a final product right there. It needs to be cleaned and sanded and smoothed and made pretty. And there are a couple of places that cabinet trim bit don't actually touch. One of them is this little corner right here. The diameter of the bit itself won't allow you to get down in that corner. And this area right in here, same thing. So all this has to be done by hand. Shape, the heel button, inside the scroll, all of that, and this right here. Also, when you're making the back, you bring it down. The shape of this wood right here, the profile comes down, swoops up just a little bit, and then levels off. And that's not really the final shape you want. What you want is for it to come down and swoop all the way out and actually just finish at its thickest point right here on this corner. So that's not really taken care of or final shaped and made pretty as it comes out of the prop bar deck after gluing the back on as well. So if you're going to put the binding on one, then all of these issues get addressed more or less as you after you've cut the binding slot and then cleaned up all the excess glue and all like that. Then your issues are more or less taken care of automatically. But for the country boys who just have the back glued on and that's it, none of these issues are addressed. So of the 10 mandolins in this batch and the 3 extras that we have, I still have 7 more or less in this state right here. The back has been glued on, the excess has been trimmed off, but that's really all that's been done. So I am going to spend the rest of the day, I think, taking care of all these issues on those 7 mandolins, and I assure you it will pretty much take all day. So I'll take some footage of it as we're doing it, and you can see more or less the process of getting these things ready for the next step, which will be putting the fretboards on. We're working our way down to that right there. So let's get started. Now you've probably figured out from watching that last little bit of yesterday's footage that I didn't get everything done to those mandolins that I wanted to get done yesterday. I did indeed get the sides sanded down. They're all cleaned up and down to about 100 grit paper. And all of the inside of the scrolls have all been shaped and cleaned up, and they're at least down to 80, if not 100. But I did not get any of the heel buttons, nor did I get to clean any of the back plates. So this morning, Thursday morning, I started in on the heel buttons, and you've been watching some footage of me do those heel buttons. It is now just a little after lunchtime, and this is the last one of the heel buttons, and it's already done. So it is now time for me to start cleaning these back plates up and trimming them out and making them all pretty and everything. So that's how I'm going to finish out the rest of my day, as soon as if I can get all of these done, or at least how many of them I can get done before the end of the day. Get them all cleaned up and everything and ready to move on to the next step of construction, which is to put the fretboard extender on in preparation for gluing on the fretboard. And hopefully we'll get some progress done on that tomorrow before the weekends. But for now, clean these backs up. Well, I was certainly pretty far off on my estimates of what I could pull off and what I couldn't. As it turns out, each of those mandolin backs take about an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes to get done. And I just simply didn't have enough time to get them all done yesterday. And I have 3 of them left to do this morning. And I need to get them done this morning because I'm going to have to run some errands in town this afternoon. And I also have the fella coming by to pick up the A-style mandolin that had the fretboard scooped out. He's supposed to be here in a few minutes. And so it's going to be a busy day. Let's see, in other news, I did not ever find a wheel for my 2007 Ford Ranger that I thought was reasonably priced anyway. So if any of you guys out there have any idea where I might could find one that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, I'd sure appreciate it if you'd give me a call. The number's on the website. Just look up www.ratliffmandolins.com. Chase the phone number down and give me a holler about that. Other than that, I'm just going to get started on these backs so I can get that done so that Monday we can start afresh with fretboard extenders and truss rod installations and that sort of things on this batch of mandolins. I would like to thank you so very much for spending a few of your precious moments with me. And we do this each and every week. Tell all your friends. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. You know the drill. And we will see you hopefully on the next episode next week of the Ratliff Mandolins Weekly Production Diary. Bye.